So first we're going to start with a black base.
Kimberly Weller is living her dream
Holographic cat eye.
I'm the lead nail tech where I work now.
in more ways than one.
I have a massive support network. I was reunited with my children.
But she says 10 years ago, while struggling with substance abuse, none of this seemed possible.
And I found myself homeless without my children. And the first night I was homeless, I met what I call my primary trafficker, because I had a few.
That meeting led to her being trafficked on and off for 3 years until she entered a special program run by anti-trafficking nonprofit Selah Freedom and the local court system.
TILA stands for Turn Your Life Around, and it gave me an opportunity to do just that.
To learn more about this program that offers solutions, we sat down with the director of clinical programming at Selah Freedom. She says the program helps survivors who are facing trafficking-related charges start over, and often it ends with those charges being dropped.
The intention behind TILA is really deal with the core issues that led that person into the industry, and then connect them with restorative services like safe housing, employment opportunities.
It's a program to meet a need that leaders with the St. Pete Police Department say is great.
That it affects all walks of life. The ages of some of the girls, kids, babies, infants. It's just something you cannot imagine would go on. A lot of times you think, when you hear human trafficking, you think about cases that are overseas. The domestic human trafficking here is unbelievable.
In fact, they say the need is so great that 3 years ago, the department was given a federal grant to start a regional human trafficking task force.
We have 26 law enforcement agencies and 20 NGOs and service providers.
Major Patterson says the goal is to work cases and make contact with survivors who can then be plugged into services. It's one of many things she says Florida is getting right when it comes to tackling this issue. And this is another.
Florida is one of the first states that's mandating human trafficking be taught in schools for grades K through 12.
So how does Florida compare when it comes to other states? Well, that's a question we set out to find answers to. According to the nonprofit Shared Hope International, our state's focus on trafficking education and the protection of victims who are kids or youth is where we excel when compared to other states.
We're looking at whether they're criminalized and whether there are laws to protect child sex trafficking victims from being criminalized as a result of their victimization.
For more than a decade, the group has been rolling out report cards for all 50 states to gauge how they're handling child and youth sex trafficking cases. Right now, Florida is only one of 3 states in the country with a C grade overall. The vast majority of the country is actually failing. Shared Hope International says in Florida, there's room for improvement when it comes to how we identify victims and how we protect them from facing trafficking-related charges.
We have the criminal justice framework, and then to step back and say, okay, are we doing this in a survivor-centered way so that we're accomplishing that goal of protecting survivors?
It's a gap that advocates hope to see filled through the expansion of that TILA court program.
It's a very popular court in Manatee and Sarasota County, and I do think it would be really effective to spread throughout the state.
Reporting for ABC Action News with photojournalist Josh Whitston, I'm in-depth reporter Rochelle Aline.